Welcome back. Take my earbud out here. So what the hell I'm doing? About to get my hands dirty again. It doesn't matter if I wear gloves or not, I'm still gonna get it on me. It's probably a good idea to take a drink first before I get it on me. So if I had a really good camera, I would show you guys the sparkly soda ash on here. It's all sparkly. It's like it's kind of like it's frosted. So when you touch this, then you can't touch your face or your mouth or anything with that, because then you have soda ash crystals or powder on your hand that transfers, and it is not something you're supposed to ingest or breathe. I've had soda ash poisoning before. It's no fun. Actually got it when I was taking stuff out of the dryer. I had already soaked it in soda ash and I spun it out and I stuck it in the dryer because I didn't want it to be damp. I wanted it to be mostly dry. So I stuck it in the dryer, and as I opened the dryer door, I leaned down and I breathed in, and I inhaled a whole bunch of that soda ash dust. That was last year. I was sick, really bad sick for, a couple weeks at least, 3 weeks maybe. So most people wear a mask while they're tie-dyeing to protect themselves from any dye or soda ash that has dried out and is now breathable. So just a little warning, soda ash and dyes, these types of dyes can be, a little, well, you should protect yourself from them at least. We'll put it that way. So, I have 4 people in here. Hello, and thank you for joining. I am going to be tie-dyeing some more stuff tonight. These have already been bound. They've been patterned, folded, bound, and they're ready to be dyed. So this one is a star flower. I showed you some of those patterns. This is how it looks when it's bound. This is a regular spiral, I'm pretty sure, with some like crumpling around it. So what I'm going to do on this one basically is I'm just going to dye this part a certain color where it's spiraled. I mean, I'm gonna dye it in the wheel like I usually do in a rainbow, and then the outside that's crumpled up, it's going to get kind of a different technique done to it. Hi, little bitty pea. This one I want to do both sides the same exact way as well. I mean, as well as I can. I want to do the front and the back the same. That way the pattern kind of comes out the same on both sides, because this is a star flower. So what colors do I want to do? That is the next question. And this one is already hardened up because it dried out. I'm a little worried about this one taking the dye how I want it to, because it's very crispy. Hi, Blue Eyes. Yeah, this one got super crispy and hard. Like, I mean, it's like a little rock. These still are pliable, so I know they'll take the dye. Sometimes you could take a little spray bottle with soda ash water in it and just kind of give them a light mist, but that gives it like a different effect that I'm looking for, so I don't really want to do that just yet. So we'll work what I got here. I have some more behind me to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 more projects or something like that. It probably won't keep you guys that long, but I'll show you a couple of pieces at least. I know some of my other videos got taken down or blocked. A lot of my videos started getting deleted like a while before I started doing this. But I know the last two, the tutorials that I was doing or working on, or, you know, just the tie-dye and chat, they got taken down because I was listening to music, and I didn't have any rights to that music, so I wanted to see if I would get away with it. Apparently I didn't. So, but it's more motivating for me to have music while I'm doing this. My stuff comes out looking better, in my personal opinion. My art comes from happy and comes from, you know, the love and happiness side of the spectrum. I don't make art out of my sadness. I used to when I used to write, but that's not this type of art. So, alright, so I'm going to start with, I like to start with the color yellow, simply because it is the lightest color on the wheel, and once you've put something a certain color, yellow will not go over that, but colors will go over yellow. It's important to kind of keep the colors that are close to that color in the color wheel next to each other, because if you try to put yellow and purple together, it turns brown. If that's the color you're looking for, that's fine, but that's not a color I particularly care for. Or red and green, they don't make a very pretty color. And if you mix all the colors together, you can make black, and that's what black is made out of, all the colors together. Yeah, I thought about wearing the earbud, playing music. That's why I have them on. I was going to do that, but I don't know if I'm going to make this video that long yet or not. I'm indecisive today. May have more company coming over too, but I am prepared. I have a bottle of water and a bag of Skittles and everything sitting before me. I have no reason not to just die, you know. So, I think I'm going to do that. So we start with yellow because it's the lightest on the color wheel. We put the yellow where we think we want to do it. So, okay, so in this spiral, I have just the center of it is the spiral, and the rest is crumpled. So what I was going to do is I'm going to make one part of the spiral wheel yellow, because it's going to be a rainbow spiral. And now this is a little thicker than the tapestries or the handkerchiefs. So I'm gonna have to put quite a bit for it to get the proper saturation, because these are the last two shirts that I have, and I don't want there to be too much white. I don't know really how the soda ash is going to work, if it's going to work with me or against me on this one. But I have to get pretty deep in there with saturation, because this is a pretty thick piece. So instead of going back and forth with all the colors, since I have these three pieces here, I'm going to continue with the yellow until I have all the yellow that I want on this side of the projects. And still, I need to continue here, see if it's coming through at all. Only a little bit, but that's okay. I need a guide for the other side whenever I get to it. Takes quite a bit of dye to do that part. All right. So this one, I'm trying to remember, oh yes, I want to do the tips, the corners of these. sucking that dye right up, so I'm guessing that the soda ash is not going to prevent me from getting in there with that dye, even though it's crusted up and hard. Tie-dye is a science. People are constantly learning new tricks and techniques. We just constantly experiment. Sometimes we share our ideas. Some people charge for their ideas. I'm not charging to teach just yet because I don't consider myself a professional. I know some things, but I don't consider myself professional enough to accept payment for teaching unless someone wants to sit next to me and be at my butt for a week and learn that way from start to finish how it's done. Okay, and now on this one, I need to do the same thing on one side as I do on the other. The flowers, how did I do that last one? I did a solid color on one side and a solid color on the other. So I'm thinking maybe instead of doing it that way, I may do 4 pies on each side. But I think I'm going to do the darker side, the color wheel for that. I don't think I want to use yellow on the flowers, just because of the way they fold and run. So the next color on the color wheel is going to be light green. And I'm going to mix it up just a little bit because it's been sitting, and green is kind of one of those that like to, I don't know, separate and get a film on the top of them. It's kind of weird. Okay, so light green. That's what this one's called. So a lot of people ask, how do you know when to stop putting dye? Like, how do you know when you have enough dye on there? Well, you kind of peek at the back to see if it's coming through, to see if you have saturation, or you just kind of like look at the material and you can tell it's wet, you know, it's not gonna drink up anymore, it's just gonna drip through. The next thing I want to do, light green, I want to do on this one. So the center is right there, and that's where I want to start. And I want to do like the same pattern on both sides, front and back. So I'm going to do a quarter of this light green, another quarter dark green, and then the dark blue and the purple, I think. So I'll do on this one. If we can cure the virus with some tie-dye love, then that's what we're working on. So we had the Popo here today. That was exciting. No, they weren't looking for me though. More green. This thing's taking a lot of green. Just drinking it up. I have to make sure I save enough to do the other side. I may end up mixing more dyes today. Probably gonna run out before I get done because of these two big pieces. I also have that big shower curtain that I need to do. Thank you, Blue Eyes. I think that is starting to go through finally. Saturation issues is something that I have kind of always had, judging how much dye I need to go through the many folds and layers of this fabric. Okay, so now I want to move up to blue. Or actually, let's do dark green next. This one kind of got cut on the top too. Now this one is an emerald green. And this is one of my favorite colors out of this dye. I buy dyes from Colorado Wholesale Dye. They're Procyon fiber active powder dyes. Let's see. Okay, I was gonna do blue. Oh wait, this is green. That's okay. I could do blue on the other side. As long as the green and purple don't touch. I should have put high contrast colors together just now, but that's okay. It'll still come out okay. And I will draw a black X on it to make sure that there is definition. And more of that emerald green. Sorry, I can't play any tunes for you guys today. They take my videos down for that. Fuckers. There we go. There's the darkness I was looking for. So the reason why I use a syringe for this is because I can control with the small tip. I can control better where the dye goes, how much is going there. It's better to like drip it on than to like just squeeze it out really fast. I try to conserve as much as I can. I just take my time with it. I notice when I rush through projects, things get messed up or I get confused what was what. Or I oversaturate or undersaturate. So it's something you gotta kind of take your time with. Squirt it on some fabric and this is the real deal. This stuff, this dye will be on your shirt for the life of the shirt. Some people kind of like the faded look. Like they don't like the fresh, crisp tie-dye look. They like something that looks a little faded and older, used a little bit. So what they can do is they can water down their dyes, give it more of a pastel-y color. I like the thick, dark, vibrant colors. So you won't see a lot of that on purpose with my dyes. I like there to be a lot of color in it. Okay, so that looks good there. I'm going to go back over here to this one and give it some of this dark dye. I think it needs some of my attention. Where the rubber bands cross, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Because then that's going to run and get in places I don't want it to be, but that's just because I'm picky about things. I have a certain vision in my head when I'm making these, of how I want them to come out. That kind of helps too. Helps you manifest, you know, what you're trying to achieve when you kind of have it in your head and in your heart how you want it to be. Okay, moving on. We're done with the dark green for now. Time for some blue, some turquoise. I'm going to rinse this out just a little bit because we're messing with dark green. And it will mess with my turquoise just a little bit if I don't rinse it out. Alright, turquoise. This is one of those colors that stains everything and needs really high temperatures really to cure. So I will have to turn on the heater in here even though it's already hot in here. I'm going to have to turn on the heater and heat it up quite a bit to about 85-90 degrees because turquoise likes hot. And those colors will pop. Orange, on the other hand, doesn't really like a lot of heat. You have to make sure you mix it thick enough, otherwise it looks peachy. It's also important to get real close to the material so it doesn't splatter everywhere. That's another issue I've had. Splatters everywhere. That's another reason why I don't use a bottle. Now, when I first started out, I had the Walmart kit with the bottles, the RIT dye. You know, it's good to start off that way if you're, not looking to get into it professionally and you just want to try it out, make some home projects or whatever. But I will not go back. That's just, to me, that would be a real big backtrack for me because it would piss me off. It makes something in 5 washes and it's gone. Okay, more turquoise. I was thinking about doing a turquoise cross on this one. And then doing the dark blue and the purple. That'll work. Because these mix well together. I'm just following my midline here. And this separates the green from the purple I'm about to add. So the green and purple don't make an ugly color. And I just squirted and splurted and made a mess. That's okay though, because the blue and the purple is going to cover what I just splattered. Turquoise. Turquoise goes really fast because it's a favorite color. Okay, I'm going to do this side turquoise. These little projects, you just like barely gotta touch them. Okay, so wherever my blue is touching my yellow, it is turning it green, and that's kind of what I want. Okay, so we got this one saturated like that. Let's finish this off. Alright, moving on to another color. Dark blue, or royal blue, that's what it's actually called. I'm going to do that one on this half over here. Go ahead and break the surface tension with the squirrel over it. You can see it get lighter as it gets sucked into the fabric. And it's darker than the turquoise. The fabric is thirsty. Sure is a lot of people out and about today, not taking anything seriously. You can see that getting darker. That's what I was looking for. That dark, juicy look. If you like what I'm doing here, please smash that like button. If you haven't already. Maybe other like-minded people will join us, and if you have any questions, I can try to answer them as we go. I have never been to school to be a teacher, so I don't really know how to teach other than just to show you how I do what I do. Do a little bit of dark blue for this one. I'm going to go over the turquoise just a little bit. Oh, I used quite a bit of that dark blue. Okay. Now it's time for some purple. Actually, I like to go the other way and work up to my purple, so I'm going to rinse out the blue out of my syringe. That way it doesn't mix in with my orange, which is the next color I'm going to grab. And I'm going to go put it on the edge of the yellow. I still have to leave room for red and purple. Oop, easy. Don't want to get too far. Don't want to oversaturate that center, because then all the colors mix together. And if you saturate the center, you don't have very good definition of the spiral. So you just kind of work from the outside in and put a little bit there. Whatever orange touches that green is going to turn an ugly brown. Okay, so the other colors I wanted to do on this was a fuchsia. So I'm going to grab that fuchsia next. Let's see if the orange went through it all. It didn't. So I'll drip a little bit more orange on there, because I do want it to go. I need a guide for the back when I go to do the back. Hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, moving on to the fuchsia. I gotta rinse a little bit of the orange out so it doesn't change my fuchsia. So the rest of the white shown on this one, I'm going to do in fuchsia. Wherever it mixes, it's going to be good because fuchsia mixes with blue and turns purple. Fuchsia mixes with yellow and turns orange. So I'm basically doing like the center of this fuchsia. I still don't want to overdo it. Okay, that little guy is done. It feels heavy with color. So one of my lids here. And I guess for now I'm gonna put it on the ground because it's got no room. Nope, I gotta spot down here. Okay. I'll put that in a safe spot so nothing touches it. Alright, and I still have fuchsia in here, and I was kind of thinking maybe instead of purple I can make a plum blossom color, which is like mostly fuchsia with a little bit of purple in it. So mostly fuchsia, a little bit of purple with that. That's a really pretty color, so I'm gonna go with it. It's just like plum blossom, which is a color you can order specifically. I think it's a really pretty color. So we're gonna do that again. I'm gonna fill this up mostly with fuchsia, and then I'm gonna throw a little purple in there with it. Mix it up a little bit, squirt it out a little bit. I do enjoy mixing my own colors. I make my own watercolors, skin colors. It's pretty simple, you know. It's like mixing paints. It pretty much is paints. If I added a thickener to this stuff, I could paint with it. And that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Man, it's still thirsty. It is very thirsty. Gotta go over it again. Making a mess. I might have to come and put another round of that homemade plum blossom on that here in a second. But in the meantime, I'm going to give this a tiny rinse. And I'm going to grab the red. That red looks such, it's like blood. It's a very dark red. The red is wanting to stay right on the top of the fabric. It's not absorbing it very fast. Okay, now I need to do the purple on this wheel. Good news is we have a couple warm days before it gets cold again, and that's going to give me time to get these all dyed, hopefully, if I don't have too many distractions. Yeah, right, I'm ADD. So I have the center dyed into a rainbow wheel. The outside is crumpled. So now I have to decide what color or what colors I'm going to do on that crumple. Well, what I was thinking about doing, this is going to be different. I think I'm going to do a black border around this, a ring of black. And then I will start doing another rainbow on the way out, possibly. I think that's what I should do. It's either that or do the entire outside in black. So now what I'm going to do is let these sit for a minute and allow them to have time for the colors to go through. They are going through pretty good on this side. So I'll have kind of an idea where to put the colors on that side. Okay, let me grab this one and see how it's doing. Oh, well, the colors didn't go too good through that, like most of them, but it's okay. I might be able to get them to go through all the way. So, any questions? Border and black sounds good. Give this time to go through a bit. Let's see what colors you can go through. The yellow, the green, and the blue went through. The red and the purple did not, but I just put it on, so it might need a few minutes to go through. I can start dyeing this one because it's pretty much gone through. I have a mess going on over here. A really pretty mess. So this is, color did I have in here last? The Plum Blossom. Or the red. What color did I have? Purple. Alright. Rinse it out really good so the colors that don't like each other don't mix. And go back to the light green. And I can see that it's from here. I just screwed that one up. So the light green was over here. That's okay. It's going to overlap a little bit. Some of these things it's okay to fuck up, and some of them it's like, no, that color wasn't supposed to go in that spot. Actually, it looks about right. And the dark goes there, the purple goes there. Okay, yeah, it looks right. Might not have it. We might not have an oopsie after all. You guys are probably going to freak out here in a little bit when I do something different with this. Gonna be like, no, why did you do that? But there's a reason for it. Okay. So I think I have enough light green on that now. Let's see, how's this thing doing? No, I think I'll do this last. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one. And for the dark green. The emerald green is so pretty. Whenever I do pot leaves, I like to use that, or 4-leaf clovers. I'll use both greens together. And you can change the tint of these also by adding yellow or adding black. I made an olive color one time by adding water, black, because watered down black is gray. I experimented with colors for a long time, and one of the ways that you can test your colors is to get a white paper towel and put a drop of each color on your paper towel, and then allowing it to dry, and then you can rinse it out even and let it dry again to see your final result color. Okay, dark blue. Oh wait, turquoise. I did a turquoise border, that's right, across both sides. Okay, turquoise. hearing some weird noises coming from outside the bedroom. I'm going to go make sure the dog's not getting into something she shouldn't be. Just checking on things. Sure don't get hot in this room, tell you what. I might have to turn on the AC. Okay, I can't remember which side of this. Which side of the border is the blue? Screw it. Do it down the middle. I'm busy. All right, now dark blue. Which I'm already low on. Hopefully I can make it through this piece though. Right, time for the plum blossom. So we fill that almost with fuchsia. And just a touch of purple. Shake that stuff around a little bit. Test it. Why is all the good stuff gotta come on when I'm working? Damn it. Missing out. Alright, I think that one's pretty well saturated. I'm going to let it sit for a minute before I touch it. After I touch it, I'm going to do a different technique to it that I haven't showed you guys. Hopefully that doesn't screw it up any. Just want to give it a kind of a cool effect. All right, this crumple. I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to dye it sky blue. I'm going to do the crumple and water and sky and water themed, which is turquoise watered down. Although black does sound like a really badass border, it'll end up being black and white. Hard decision. And that's a lot of tie-dye. Like, I have to envision and feel it and, you know, see it in my mind's eye what it's going to look like when it's done. So I gotta give this a minute so I can go over it with my other technique. Let's see, what colors do I have the most of? I have a lot of red, I have a lot of purple, I have a lot of dark green, I have black. Well, it looks like I'm going to do the rest of the shirt in black. Maybe maybe I do a purple black back. Since the yellow didn't go too far through, I can't do that. All right. Let's try to color this side like the other side. See how that goes. I got it. Dark blue. Because dark blue will be alright. Do I want to do this in paintbrush or in... I was low on my dark blue, wasn't I? Okay, can't do that. Gotta do my dark border first. So that'll be first. I think I need to do what I originally envisioned. So this is black, and I always mix my black extra thick. There's different kinds of black. There's black black, there's blue black, there's purple black. This one kind of has blue, it gives off blue tones a little bit, but it gets really black black if you mix it really thick. I always mix mine really, really thick because I like mine to be a really dark black. And if I need to make gray, I'll just put a little bit of black in my syringe and then add a lot of water to it. They actually make, like, they make gray dye powders and stuff, but a lot of the times it's cheaper if you just, you know, like mix your own. And I just splattered black everywhere. Oops. Overkill. So what I'm going to do the rest of it is, I think I'm going to do a turquoise blue. And then when I do the other side, I'll do a dark blue, so that it has kind of 2 overlapping colors. It's getting fucking hot in here. Okay, that had black in it, so now I gotta clear it out. I like the idea of maybe doing it like this. Just gonna have to do this one differently. It's calling for me to do something different with it. Something I haven't done before. Low, low, low. That really pretty emerald green. So it's definitely gonna come out different. This might have to be my new shirt. Okay, so there's the emerald green. Gotta do a little bit of yellow. I don't do a lot of yellow because yellow is not everyone's favorite color, but I do need it to break up the other colors sometimes. Hit that light green. And now let's hit up, clear this out real quick because green and red don't mix. Red. I'm trying to go as sparingly as I can on my orange because like I'm on the last little bit of my orange. Whatever projects I gotta do after this, I have to stretch that orange. I really have to stretch it. I can make some orange with red and yellow, but it's not quite the same. Okay, so now that this one is done being dyed on one side, I am going to do this one. Now what I'm going to do different about this one, I'm going to dip my paintbrush in that black, and I am going to lightly brush, just a light brushing all over. Then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to give, wow, it got really saturated. I'm still going to give it a quick go over with this black. And you will see why in the end, because it's going to give it a really awesome look to it. Now, this one's done. I can set it aside. And this other one, I'm really considering going over the entire back with black, because I really like the way that black makes rainbows pop. Black and rainbows go very well together. You may have noticed that is how I dress most of the time, with black and rainbows, because I think they just go really good together. Sorry about all the shaking. I need a new table. This one's, it's been a good table to me, but it's about time to replace it. It's lost all its screws. Just an old table. Had it since the beginning of my tie-dye journey. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen how I did this one, but here in the circle, I did the spiral part of it, a rainbow wheel. And then I did a black border, and then I did another rainbow wheel outside of that. So now I'm going to take this project and I'm going to turn it over. And as you can see, a lot of my colors have come through. So now I'm going to take this and do exactly what I just did to the other one. I'm going to come and just lightly brush. As you can see, that's not saturating it a lot. It's what size is this? This is a 2X. It's gonna be big on me, but it might work. If it's too big, I'll just sell it. In the past, I've gotten too much black on the back and kind of drowned out the colors. I'm trying to be careful not to do that today. Now what's going on? Let's go ahead and dye that tag black. Try to stay away from that center as much as possible, because that center will get too much color and then you can't really see the spiral in the center of it that way. It's looking good to me. Don't want to put too much. Don't want to lose our other colors in there. But at the same time, want to get this layer, at least, you know, the top layer, some black on it. Can't wait to see how this one turns out. Definitely going to be interesting. Now these have to sit for 24 to 48 hours. Cannot sit in the cold. Has to be warm wherever it's sitting. Especially for that turquoise. Okay. It looks like this is going to be good. Okay, flip it over and see how much that black is coming through. It's not too horrible. I'm going to let that sit there for a second. I know, I can't wait to see this one either. It's going to be really cool. Okay. This one's already got a bunch of dye trying to come out of it. So I guess I'm going to leave that one like that. Get another lid to put this on. I got these lids from my boss when I was working at the Basin Park Motel in Eureka Springs as a dishwasher. They had all these different totes for things, dishes and stuff, but they didn't need the lids. So they were like in the garbage area, and I asked the boss if I could have them. She's like, sure. I was like, awesome. Now I have somewhere safe to stack my tie-dyes. So I used to put them in a Walmart bag, and then the colors would run everywhere and touch everything and make a big mess. And it's better to leave them not in a bag, I think, if you're worried about where your color placement's going to be. How do I know how to tie them off like that? I will be doing more tutorials soon on folding and binding the materials. I have made some videos, but YouTube's been taking down almost everything that I make. So that, or someone has hacked me and they're doing it. I don't know which is the case. Either way, I've been trying to put out tutorials, and I will put out more. I learned not to play music while I'm working, because they will take that for sure. But there's lots of tutorials out there as well. I'm not the only one doing this. Tie-dye is a thing. A lot of people think it died in the 70s, but it never has died. Actually, it has just progressed. And there is a pretty big tie-dye community out there. I'm in a lot of tie-dye groups on Facebook, and we share ideas and share our work and stuff like that. And we sell on Facebook. I sell my tie-dyes on Facebook. That's usually how I do that. I go through PayPal and I ship items. So PayPal protects the buyer and seller. Just me. I will be showing when I have finished. I think, let's see, what's today? Today's Tuesday. So Thursday morning, I should be rinsing and be doing more tie-dye reveals. I did a tie-dye reveal earlier. Some of them are already claimed, but I still have, I think, 8 available for sale. They're going to be $20 a piece, except for the plus shipping and PayPal fees. Except for the Alien. The Alien is going to be $30 plus shipping and PayPal fees. Can't talk today. So yeah, that's that. And I've got some more to do. Some more pieces here. There's another star flower. This is a heart spiral, and this is a mandala. Well, thank you, Joseph. How I know what's what is because I kind of remember how I folded it. And I've been doing this. I started doing this back in 2011. Late 2011. No, I take that back. 2012 is when I started doing this. I started my business on Valentine's Day 2011, or 2012. By the end of that year, I was doing tie-dyeing. I started out with hemp jewelry, macrame, wood burning, stuff like that, and then I progressed to tie-dyeing. I started out with a Walmart kit and wanted to learn how to do better. So I got on Facebook, started meeting people, started reading books, watching tutorials, and finally I went and met Tie-Dye Ron, who did this beautiful tapestry that I keep over my window. That's a tie-dye Ron piece right there. It was it's tattered and torn, and I bought it that way on purpose. Like I said, some people like the old, he had that for forever, he said, on his wall. I don't remember how many years he said he had that on his wall. And he was like, really? You gotta have that one? He's like, I'll make you a new one. I said, no, I want that one. Gotta have that one. So that is a Ron star, and eventually I will be showing you guys how to do a Ron star. I have to practice on it again because it's been so long since I've done one, and he has a very special technique about it. So this one is bound in sinew, and I don't know how to tell you, but I just know that this is a mandala. This one, this part right here is the heart, and the rest of it is a spiral coming off of the heart. Thank you, Happy Hippie. It's good to see you here. So this is another one of those star flowers. I have a butterfly over here. And this one, it took me a minute to remember what the hell it was, but I'm pretty sure it is what I think it is. This is the head, and the body right here together, which is going to be black, of course. And this is a wing, and I think this is a wing. I usually put the wings together, so it's confusing to look at right now. But pretty sure that those other two. I know that this one's the head and the body, because I can see two separate ties in there. Like this top one here is the head, and this is the body, and I put them together. That way I know that that's all black. This is a wing. I can kind of tell by how it's folded. And I think this one's a wing too. I'm pretty sure. And then so I have to do this. The body's going to be black, but I have to do like another color that contrasts the wings and stuff. So this one's been tied up since August. The ones that have been tied up forever, I don't have as much faith in. But some of them came out really good today that had been tied up. So I'm okay with that. I'll figure it out. This thing, this was another question. I'm not quite sure. Oh, this is a heart with a rainbow. So in between the red and the blue is the rainbow. I marked it so I would kind of know. And then this is going to be kind of like clouds and sky. And then this part's going to be a heart. It can be a fun job. It's kind of lonely. You don't have anybody around you, but not very many people just want to just sit here and watch someone do this stuff. But I like the turnout. I like how things turn out. I like how the colors make me happy. Eventually I'll have my room full of tapestries on the wall. Right now I'm trying to make and sell as much as I can so that I can restock my supplies, because like I said, I'm out of orange, so I have to order a thing of orange. Where is my price sheet? My price sheet's probably in the tote, but it's probably going to be like $8 to $12 for a little jar of orange powder. But I gotta get that for sure. And I know there was another color that I was low on, a couple of them. So I'm probably gonna have to order 3 or 4 colors, and I'm gonna have to order another thing of sinew. Sinew is a binding material. It's artificial sinew is a string that you use for binding. It's a string that kind of sticks to itself. It's really strong. The type of dye that I use is fiber reactive dye, Procyon dye. I order it from Colorado Wholesale Dyes online. I've tried Dharma. I don't like Dharma's colors. I have not tried Custom Colors yet. I keep being urged to go to Custom Colors, but I really like Grateful Dyes, or Colorado Wholesale Dyes. They used to be Grateful Dyes, but they changed their name. So, but they're Procyon fiber reactive dyes. So, which means I can basically dye anything that is plant fiber material, 100%, but it has to be 100%. If it's half polyester, whatever's polyester will not dye, because that's like a plastic kind of material, and it resists. So things will come out kind of a pastel-y color if it's partially polyester. If it's 100% polyester, it won't hardly take the dye at all. So it has to be 100% cotton, 100% hemp, 100% silk. Those type of, like a plant material. It has to be 100%. All the tapestries that I do are 100% cotton. That's why the colors come out so bright. Silk, 100% silk. The colors come out really vibrant. I have not had the opportunity to dye hemp other than a little bit of hemp cord, and it came out okay, but it started out natural color, so some of the colors didn't come out as bright, as something would if you dyed it on a white piece of material. Another thing I'm going to start practicing with when all this shit's over and we can get bleach again, I'm going to do reverse dyes, which I'm going to take black or darker colored materials, going to put it into a pattern, going to bleach it, and then go over it with color after I bleach it, because that gives it a totally different look. And that's something that I'm really interested in doing. I'm also interested in doing ice dyes. I wanted to do ice dyes with, during, the first few batches, but I don't have enough powder to do that. So I will wait till I make some sales and can restock, because it takes a lot of powder to do ice dyes. There's two ways that I can do ice dyes. I can either put the powder and then the ice on top of that and just let the ice melt into the powder and do its thing. Or the other thing I can do is mix up dyes and pour them into a ice tray, and I can make individual cubes of color and then let that melt into the fabric. Summer's coming, so that's going to be a more popular thing. Everyone does ice dyes during the summer because it's kind of a lazy way of doing it. You put the thing, you build these little cardboard things to go around your like, for example, you take this and you make a piece of cardboard that'll go around it so it holds the ice. Then you sprinkle your dye powder wherever you want it, whatever pattern you want it to be, with your different colors, and then you would fill this little thing up with ice, and your little encasing holds it. And then that ice will melt and those colors will bleed and blend and do something really cool. So a lot of people do that during the summertime because ice is really cheap. If you don't have an ice maker, you can go to Sonic, buy a big old bag of it. And those little teeny tiny pieces of ice are actually better than using like the big chunks of ice, because then you get really, really cool little intricate patterns in there. So, I don't have a lot of people here today. I notice there's other things going on YouTube. Does anyone have any questions for me today? I'm going to continue doing this as long as I can. As long as I have the data to do it. Oh, speaking of data, Straight Talk is offering extra data. If you have Straight Talk service, they're offering extra data. If you text COVID, I think, to Straight Talk, and they give you like an extra 5 gigs or 10 gigs of data. Some people, they're actually giving them like a whole extra month of time, which is great. But I'm getting the extra data at the end of mine. We don't really have a choice of it. I think they just, they go based on what you use the most, and I use a lot of data, so yay. The virus has its perks, I guess. Some people are getting more food stamps, so that's helpful. I got my taxes filed so that maybe I can get in on that check, get myself a vehicle. That way I can run these dyes around selling them. Alright, that's, I guess if you guys have no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream. I got some other things I need to do today before I get back on dyeing. But whenever I come to the table, I will try to include you guys as much as I can. That way you can learn with me as I experiment. Appreciate you for being here. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.